Hello, hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully this is okay. With luck, the volume is working correctly. With luck, everything should be as it ought. And with luck, everything will go smoothly. And as you might imagine, I rely a lot on luck. That's why I run 8 games of D&D. So here we are. This is the inaugural episode of I Run 8 Games. That is the name of this stream that I might continue. I'm just kind of doing this on alert, but I've been giving this some thought. I do in fact run 8 games. It has jumped up and down over the years, but at the advent of the pandemic, as we all know, well, we know that the pandemic happened, but at the advent of it, I was running about 4 games out of the week. That was the most I'd ever done, really, prior to that. And so I had kind of worked my way up from maybe running 2 at a time to running 4, which was a lot. Some of that was Adventures League at a local video game store. Some of that was running games for the middle school that I worked. And once the pandemic hit, I was asked to run many more games than that, because we all found ourselves kind of needing some kind of human interaction and some pastime, which is great. I was able to help a lot of people stay connected and stay sane during that time, and I was one of those people. So that kind of led to me running 9.5. Well, no. I shouldn't over-exaggerate it. I ran maybe 9 games a week, and it's fluctuated a lot since then. If you can turn down your music or turn up your voice, it's hard to hear you. Oh, okay, that's good to know. How about this? Can you hear me better? I mean, we're at a break in the music, but okay, it's back on now. Is this better? I'm going to talk continually so you can tell me if the mix of the music and my voice has improved. But okay, as I was saying, I run 8 games. I started running a bunch of games during the onset of the pandemic. We're going to go into one of the games that I play to start and see how many we can plan for. And I won't plan deep because I rarely plan at all. But I know that every time I tell people that I run 8 games, they're shocked. And so maybe watching me think through the games that I run and doing minimal planning might be entertaining. I don't know. It's worth a shot. But here we go. So just thinking through, we'll start on a Monday. Monday, I run a Lost Mines of Phandelver game for the high school that I work at. So Lost Mines, we're just going to talk about that. The group has been very chaotic in terms of composition and action. But so far the 2 prominent members are an elven sorcerer, and a fire genasi wizard. And both of them have, in some way, shape, or form, pledged themselves to Sugtamoy. And what we have now seen is that these 2 groups are now, or these 2 people are now against Sugtamoy because Sugtamoy is not good news anyways. But we're going to go very neatly from Lost Mines to Out of the Abyss. And one of the things that I introduced in this game was we have a young fungal extract that is actually the bud or child, if you will, of Aramikos. And Aramikos, for those of you who don't know, is actually the largest organism in the Forgotten Realms. So I'm going to hopefully get the group to care about Oromikos because Zugtamoy is of course going to try and take it over. And I'm going to allow them to commune with Oromikos. Let's see, group to commune with Oromikos. Save it from Zugtamoy. For some reason I'm getting a weird delay on my typing, but I have a feeling that that has to do with the fact that I've zoomed in so far. And that we're doing OBS and some music, but anyhow. Yeah, so that's my overall plan. They're almost done. It's done with Wave Echo Cave. And they will segue nicely into the Underdark. Now, normally you would start out of the Abyss with everybody being captured in a drow prison, but I don't think that that will quite work here. So I need to figure out how I'm going to do that separately. So instead of doing that, I think what I would rather do is have the group maybe find their way down. There is a drow city that is kind of a melting pot, and I'm trying to think of what the name is. I gotta grab my book real quick so we can hash this up. So one of the great things about Out of the Abyss is that you can really bring anyone anywhere, because a lot of the campaign kind of relies on the fact that it is kind of a weird, dangerous sandbox type adventure, and so you can really throw anyone anywhere, and most of the encounters are actually really easy, in that like not a lot of the things that happen in the Underdark in Out of the Abyss are so dangerous that you would die immediately. There are some that are just kind of like you need to run from this, and it's a really good adventure to teach people that, to show people, hey, don't do these things. Don't go up against the demo. Like don't go up against Demogorgon when he shows up at the very onset of the adventure. Don't try and fight Orcus outside of the Graven Hollow Library. You know, things like that. A lot of the things that are not like, oh, you better run from this crazy thing, generally tend to be survivable. Let's see. Actually, I like. So I have two options. There's Mantle Dareth, which is kind of the melting pot. Let's write those two out. Mantle Dareth and Blingden Stone. I like Gracklestug, but I think that's something to work towards. But let's write down these two ideas. Mantle Dareth. And Mantle Dareth is more of a trade city. Tolerates outsiders. Has an edge to it. And has Drow and Durgar.
How are you feeling? Good or maybe a little effed up?
Oh man, why?
Messed up to pretend like right now we're not all.
Hello, Spotify, can we please skip this commercial?
Go online and check out
Ugh. No, we cannot. I'm gonna just mute this commercial. Anyhow, Mantle Dareth is a really good first step into the Underdark that would be kind of nice, in terms of just showing people what the Underdark is about. Oh, and there's a Liberty Mutual commercial. That fucking sucks. Well, so that's a really good place to be like, this is the gritty Underdark. this is the place that you're going to go to learn that like this place is not inviting. This is some realism. This is some kind of stakes establishing. Um, let's see, Liberty Mutual commercial. Are you going to be done anytime soon? Would you just? Um, there we go. We're back to music. Cool. So that is one option. The other option. Did I pause that without? No. There we go. Blingden Stone is option number 2. And we've got Blingden Stone. It is softer. And I would write that if I could. There we go. Softer, nicer, more emotional buy-in. And what I mean by that is that the characters who arrive are going to be way more likely to empathize with the citizens of Blingden Stone, who, by the way, are all gnomes, or deep gnomes, or Srefnevlin if you prefer. Gnomes almost exclusively. And I think that it might even be closer to Aramikos anyways, so that might not be a bad place to start. The stakes are a little higher there, because you have the Pudding King. Pudding King Ooze Festival. More dangerous outright. And so, yeah, there's events that happen there that are going to be more dangerous. But that being said, it's entirely possible to run into these events at like level 3 or 4, where my players are going to be starting this level 5. Could be survivable. So that's important. Whereas in the trade city of Manteldareth, low level hostility, more likely to get into trouble with authorities. Man, all of this chiptune music, aside from the fact that it doesn't want to play, makes me want to play Anamanaguchi, but I don't know if Anamanaguchi will work for our purposes, but we'll see. And man, I do think I'm putting OBS through its paces, so hopefully all of this will work out okay. I might need to turn off my browser, but we'll see. For right now, it seems to work okay. But, okay, so where were we? Blingden Stone or Manteldareth, and both of those have very different entry points in terms of narrative. If I do Manteldareth, it's just going to be a straight stairway down into the Underdark, where they can run into Manteldareth and realize that there is this trade city beneath Phandalin, which would be really fun and interesting. Meanwhile, Blingden Stone might be a teleport in, where they find this teleportation circle, they're able to use it, and it takes them somewhere in Blingden Stone for a couple of reasons. And let me see. Might teleport in through magic circle in Entomoc's boon area. Entomoc being kind of like the good version of an evil kind of Ogremok is the evil elemental deity or kind of demigod, and then Entomoc is kind of like the good version. But Entomoc plays a bit of let's see. Sorry, I'm responding to someone. And so Entomoc's boon is a nice little area that is like blessed by Entomoc. You can actually summon a friendly earth elemental there that can help you fight against the oozes, and it's so good to do that because otherwise the chips are kind of against you. But the last time I had someone do that, they called them pebbles, and it was a lot of fun. It was actually pretty cool, and I'd like to repeat that. So throwing people into Entomoc's boon would be a good way of doing that. Let's see. Come on now. Might bring back pebbles. Of course, I'd let this group name the earth elemental whatever they like. Whoops, what did I just do? And we're having music issues, and I'm not sure why, which is a bummer. But I do like the music. When it works, the music is fantastic. Okay, so these are all things to think about. I think this will give me the kind of the framework of what I want to do, which will be a lot of fun to decide. Mantle Dareth is kind of losing out to Blingdenstone because there's a lot of cool things to do in Blingdenstone. Might even help kind of guide the characters and be like a nice home base where Mantle Dareth would be great, but it's also less welcoming, less warm, so they might have to strike out and find a different home base. That could be its own reward. Start them in Mantle Dareth, have them kind of pushed out because the city's so hostile, then take them to Blingdenstone. I don't know. Those are two different ways to go. But somewhere in all of this, we're going to do the, let's see, Brand Demon Lord Summoning. And I think that part will keep mostly the same. So they are vehemently now against the Zugtamoy. They're going to have to fight their way through others like Dewey Blacks, Demogorgon, Yanogu, and so on. But there you go. That was the first game. Those are just some general ideas that I've got going. Let's see. We're going to go to our next game. So Monday, Tuesday, this is what I run. Is the we'll just call it for now Lost Mines to Out of the Abyss. Number 2, let's see. So Mondays, I don't run anything after that. Tuesdays, actually I do. So Tuesdays, I have been running a game for my girlfriend, which is really exciting because it's the first time I've ever gotten to do anything like that. And we're just going to call that Klaus the Gnome. That is the character that she is running, but like we are kind of treating it very much like David the Gnome, if you ever watched that old cartoon. If you didn't, it's a delight. Please do yourself that favor. So the things to know about that is that this game is run in Mystara, which is a really interesting and old setting that is tied to Blackmoor. It is Dave Arneson's setting, which both of them are kind of Dave Arneson's settings. They're just set in different times in the same universe, let's call it. But there's some really interesting things about Mystara. For instance, the D&D arcade beat 'em up is set in Mystara, as are a lot of old, really well-known adventures such as Keep on the Borderland and Isle of Dread. This is important because I might draw elements from them, so that I would be able to then kind of introduce those elements into this game. Let's see, Mystara. There is a part in Mystara that I want to focus on, and I want to say it's called Karamakos. Yes, so Karamakos, from my research, has been one of the most explored areas of Mystara. Um, it seems to have like the most political intrigue. It seems to be kind of like this great leaping off point for a lot of campaigns. So going to explore this land. One of the grand benefits to Mystara is that it is very tropey. And in this case, I just want this to be like pure Dungeons and Dragons. Like, you go on a road, you fight some brigands. You go into the forest, you might fight a manticore. You go over a bridge, there's probably a troll under that bridge. Like, this is just pure distilled Dungeons and Dragons. And I feel like for a new player, that's going to be a really great way to be like, hey, these are all the things you think you know about Dungeons and Dragons. They are here. If a kingdom gets destroyed, it's because some evil people are riding on a black dragon, and the black dragon is being like ridden by like a black knight. The only other setting I know of that is like this trophy is Dragonlance. Dragonlance, unfortunately, is like a railroad of a setting, and that's ridiculous. We'll talk about that a different time. So right now, Klaus is in the swamp. Is going to going into ruins. And my god, I totally forgot what I was going to do with that game because Klaus returned an eye to some lizard folk who had lent it to him to help to push back some barbarian hordes that were going to attack Klaus's forest, and that all worked great. But now Klaus returned the eye, the lizard folk are like, hey, weird stuff is happening, and I was going to have the ruins have like some kind of a weird portal that is causing all of this mess. But I can't remember where I was going with that, and I feel like I had a really good idea. So swamp, ruins, there were trolls. And these are a lot more like, let's call them Scandinavian trolls. So we're probably going to have to make that a thing instead of just relying on the normal troll stat block. So turn to, well, I don't know. I'm going to have to go back to David the Gnome and just see exactly how they treated them. Turn to stone in the direct daylight. Dumb. Brutish. Weakness for being bullies. Likely to be outsmarted. Dim-witted. So, I mean, I almost think that this encounter is going to be less about how can you fight these trolls and more about how can you outsmart them. So it's going to be really important to highlight their buffoonery and kind of make that an excellent moment to be very clever. So whatever was in the ruins has been making animals go haywire. I don't want to lean into the Shadowfell. So I'm almost thinking, okay, so what would be something tropey? I think I'm going to go more for the Far Realms. So Far Realms, that's where you get your Beholders and your the Lithids and so on. So the Far Realms, there's going to be something that connects the Far Realms to this ruin. And I think what I will do is I will have it be a Nautilus engine stuck out of, let me think, what's the word I'm looking for? So Nautilus engine, and if you don't know, a Nautilus ship is basically what the Illithid use to travel throughout the universe. Because they're spacefaring, normally. But the Nautilus engine is stuck out of phase, I guess is the way I would say it. Crash landed, causing issues. So how do we solve this? Like, what's a potential solve? and I never make it the one way to fix things, but let's just say that the potential solve, so that we've got one in mind, is going to be to go in there. We'll say that there were a bunch of crystals knocked loose. The crystals aren't out of phase, but the engine is. So potentially grabbing the crystals, putting them, put crystals back, engine phases to other reality. But there's not a lot of stakes there. There's not a lot of oh, for heaven's sake! Would you stop? Okay, we're gonna mute that for a while we go. I don't want to have to pay for Spotify, but I might at this rate, because God, that sucks. Anyway, so there's not much conflict inherent in the we're gonna put the crystals back in the engine. That's not a challenge, and even if I made it a challenge, it wouldn't be interesting. So we're gonna do that differently. We're gonna put something in the way, and I don't know if I want it to be a boss fight, but it should be something interesting. But I don't know what that could be. I'm trying to think of something really good and fun. Okay, I think I know what I want to do. So, gosh, these commercials go on for a really long time. That kind of sucks. But they sure do seem to know what they're doing. All right. So, if we're going to have something in the way to prevent the Nautilus shell from being phased out of reality and stop mutating creatures, I say we throw in... Let's make it an owlbear. Owlbear inherited the brainwaves of an elder mind that was stuck on the ship. Oh man, I like that idea a lot. So this owlbear cannot speak. It has limited telepathy. Can only speak via the, let's call it, can only communicate one sentence a day. So now it's going to have to figure out when, to whom, and how to communicate one sentence a day, which to an elder mind, that's torture. Like, you take something that can like think circles around like our most advanced quantum computers, and it wants to communicate things to people, even if it's just to give commands. It would have a conniption trying to figure out what to communicate and when. But in the meanwhile, the original owlbear mind is in control as well. So most of the time, and we'll write this down, most of the time, elder mind takes a backseat. Because what's it gonna do? It's gonna control the owlbear to like go somewhere and do a thing. It's still trying to formulate a plan for how to get out of the owlbear. Another consequence is that the elder mind can't like mind blast. It can't control anything. it's more stuck in the owlbear than it is possessing the owlbear. So this is just a funny situation. And as time goes on, owlbear becomes awakened by influence of Eldermind. And what I think will have happen is that the owlbear gets smarter as the Eldermind kind of loses its own mind, and eventually you'll get this amalgam of like this mad Eldermind, eventually amalgam of mad elder brain and smart owlbear, to where it's going to be this like crazy genius owlbear that's going to do something. I don't know. I think that's interesting. We'll kind of go with that. So there we go. I think that's enough for now. These are ideas. And that's one thing I like about Mystara and Greyhawk, is that it kind of lends itself to like these zany ideas that are both genre breaking, and that it's like this is like something out of a science fiction novel, but at the same time very Dungeons and Dragons. Because as you might know, a lot of the early influences were that. It was like, let's read a science fiction, like, you know, Penny Dreadful, and turn that into a D&D module. Like, these are things that more or less happen. A lot of influences from things like Conan the Barbarian, Tarzan, John Carter of Mars, so on and so forth. There's some ideas there. I think I'm going to leave that alone for right now and kind of stew over them. But those are the ideas that I think I will put forward. And that's the thing. So the owlbear is not there to be beaten up. The owlbear might just be there to be a distraction. Maybe the plan will be like, let's do something smart to get the owlbear to go away so we can fix this. I think that's going to be more interesting. Third game. So let's see. That's Tuesdays, Wednesdays. So Wednesdays we play 2 games. We're going to focus on the first one. Wednesdays we have another Lost Mine of Phandelver. But that one has concluded, and so now we're kind of going on to a different thing. We're going to call this Dawn of Thay. And this has time travel elements, Forgotten Realms, heavy Thay influence, also what is it, Netherese. So reformed Thayan wizard joined group, NPC. Thay wants to kill or capture reformed wizard. So after offering to just leave the plane entirely and absolve the group of any problems with the Thayans, the group decided to keep the Thayan wizard and to fight against Thay. So they're going to be embroiled in conflict between, we're going to say, cryo-frozen Netherese and we're going to call it a semi-lich Thayan commander. And so semi-lich, what does a semi-lich want other than to just be an evil Thayan wizard type? Semi-lich wants Thayan secrets for flying cities. Wants reformed wizard to give them over. And so yeah, maybe we'll throw that in there. Reformed wizard knows how to create flying cities, because that is a hallmark of the Netherese, is that they create flying cities. And the last one they made crashed into Mithranor, the Elven capital, and basically flubbed it. Like, Mithranor stopped being Mithranor because it got it got colony dropped, and then unfrozen caveman wizard, we'll call him, wants to revive Netherese Empire. Neither of those are good things. They're going to fight each other to do that. Group's going to be caught in the middle. Group caught in the middle. I think I'm going to send them. Will need to ally with wizard. Who? Question mark? So there's a lot of options. Knowing this group, they're not going to pick the good option. So there's Elminster. Let's just label this good. Elminster. That's one option. Vajra Blackstaff. That's another option. Let's see. I know there's a couple. We'll just say Mordenkainen, because why not? Neutral. Tasha. Or what is her name? Igwil. She's evil, but I feel like she could probably do it and not be a jerk about it. I feel like too many people throw her under the bus. That'd be a stretch though, because she'd have to come to this plane and be, kind of drawn to it. Who are some other interesting wizard types in the region? Actually, I think I'm going to introduce Gertrude in there. Gertrude is an NPC of my own creating. She mostly makes potions. She could be an interesting person, though. She's not great, as in she's not like a powerful wizard, but she could offer a lot of help. And then we'll say, why don't we say a Grand Duke of Baldur's Gate? Not terribly interested in who, but we'll just say that there is one who's a wizard or spellcaster that might be able to do it. Evil. So Manchun. And this is the kind of group that would go with the evil option because it's more interesting, but we'll see. And then who's the Mad Wizard? Mad Wizard, well, let's just say Acerarak is one option. Or the Mad Wizard, Crazy Dude. We're just Mad Wizard of Undermountain. I don't know why I can't think of his name. But anyways, those should be some interesting options. Or we could do Drow Wizard guy from Out of the Abyss. Again, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But he would be an interesting tie into the other game. And if we could tie the two games together, there's some real synergy. And I love synergy between two games that are set in the same setting. That gives me energy. That kind of recharges my spoons, if you will. But let's see. So we've got 3 games so far. 4th game on a Wednesday is, let's see. I'm going to look and see who is watching because there are people I don't want to watch this. Let's see. Okay. So if you happen to be in my Wednesday game, don't watch this. That means you, Sojaro. That means you, Hardmard. All of y'all, stay away from this section. So this is, let's see. And this I've already tied to the previous game because it has a lot to do with Netherese. What did I call it? Oh yeah, we'll just call it Mythdraenor for right now. I had a clever title and I can't remember it off the top. Mythdraenor game. Elven Resurgence. 2 elves in party that might help Mythdraenor regain old glory. Netherese wizard from the future trying to influence and control elven destiny, let's call it. One character retired. Might be great NPC as bookstore. So what do we want to do next? So group is returning to Mr. Anner. So they've gone through hell and high water to try and find a few things. So search for artifact crown. Let's see, forces of Archmage. Let's see, Garvardi. That's right. That's his name. Sent him back. We'll call. Let's see. So there are out of phase creatures sent like yo-yos to recover things from the past. So yo-yo creatures like Avengers getting Infinity Stones from past and snap back and keep things from this timeline. So they already fought this weird tentacle creature that was trying to take something for itself, but the group foiled it. So I think this time, what is something that would be sent back that would be a lot of fun? I need to tone it down because I've been beating the crap out of this group and I think they're getting tired of it. Let's do something interesting.
Mile-high standards.
And oh man, these commercials are killing me.
More non-stops from Denver to more destinations because anything less.
So anyhow, here we are. We're looking for a monster to fight, and I kind of want to make it something interesting. I kind of want to make it something that's not going to be like, oh, let's just throw some goblins at it, because that would be kind of lame. And I don't want to do gibberlings because they would be too dangerous. Their whole thing is that they kind of have a swarm effect. I like the sending of creatures. Maybe they're like their bestial intelligence allows them to go back in time without ill effect, because already there has been these people, these humanoids, who have been affected by the time stream and have gone mad. What is a good thing to send back? I will say actually pack of wargs sent from future. The retrieve crown will initially, well, let me think. I don't know, maybe not wargs. I've already kind of overplayed that card. I've already had them fight like a dire wolf or something. Let me think. Hyenas. That's what we'll do. Pack of hyenas. Sent back from future. Pact made with Yinogu. And so already we're getting some potential crossover with the Out of the Abyss game. But so the hyenas are going to go back. Hyenas, they're awakened. So they're going to be able to talk and negotiate and do things like that. Initially, we'll befriend a group, help them fight against ghostly protectors of Crow. And we'll say they wear Netherese claw pendants. Can deal magical damage. +1 to attack and damage from natural weapons. So if they are recovered, if they fight the hyenas and keep them, they can either sell the claw pendants, or they can use them for pets. I don't think anyone in this game has a natural attack. I guess one character is a tabaxi and could potentially use that. Let's see. No attunement required. Okay. What else do we have here? So, small dungeon, tomb. In fact, I might even have one that could work for this. Some treasure. The group already has a ton of money, so I think I want to make the treasure a little bit more meaningful. Books for Marlowe. That's the aforementioned NPC with the bookshop. I think I'm going to throw in some temporal crystals. Unpredictable effect on time travelers. Can protect from temporal magic. One-time use. So we'll just throw these like crazy things in there. That will make the group feel like they're at least a little bit more insulated from all of this weirdness. So, fun thing about this campaign in particular is that I'm kind of trying to make it this weird, like, the past is reaching out to them, the future is reaching out to them, and they're kind of sandwiched between this, like, magnetic slipstream that's keeping them in place. But with these temporal crystals, they might gain some more agency and make some decisions that will take them out of this kind of, like, sandwich of fate, we shall call it. In fact, that's a really good name for this campaign. Maybe I should keep that. Alright, so that was game 4. Game 5. Thursdays, that's my war drums of Mount Nimro. Some interesting things happening in that game, but quick recap. Group is seeking, well, short version. Let's kill Shantico. Who is Shantico, you ask? Shantico is an evil demigod, black dog creep. So some things to consider. Runeheart contains creepy wizard. Giants being influenced by Shantico. Home base of Sandpoint going to be attacked by giants. Let's see. So the group has a lot of things that they could do. So let's just throw them out in the options. Option A, find allies, fight giants. Option B, research. Probably less likely. They've kind of spent most of the game trying to research this whole situation. Option C, quest. And so they might quest to do a number of things. Let's say quest A, sneak in Lord of the Rings style. Sub option B, Complete unfulfilled wish. Kill Shantico. C, sub-option C. Find Shantico away from giants. Although all of those sound interesting, I think I want to maybe steer them away from that. I think A is really the way to go. I'm gonna say that Shantico has taken up residence with the inner council of the fire giant king. So let's just scooch all of this out. So Shantico is in inner council of Sunder Blackrock. Sunder Blackrock is like the king of the giants right now. So campaign against Sunder lieutenants want to conquer Land of the South Winds, which is exactly where the home base is. Includes Sandpoint. And the group's real only option is to use gathered army to take battle to Sunder. Maybe ally with Gromek? Gromek are like the historical enemies to the giants. Maybe fool into fighting each other? Not sure. In confusion, get to first giant city. So I don't want them to just like go in there and think that every giant is against them. So we're going to go into, let's say, all of a sudden this music is a little loud. How's about that? Okay. So first giant city we'll call Trollhaven. Under control of dragon parading as giants, causing trolls to fight for its glory. So this dragon, we'll call him Halfwing. Halfwing has one wing, as you might imagine. So as a one-winged dragon, it can still it can still turn into other things, because that's a thing some dragons can do. However, it can no longer fly. We'll say that's a curse. Not to fly by the Pontifex. So, of course, the Pontifex is a creature that I've had in a number of different campaigns that has been like this curse giver. Every curse removed from the Pontifex makes it weaker, but right now it is basically unbeatable. Okay, so Halfwing. Let's lead to fight with Halfwing. Revelation of Draconic Subterfuge may gain group favor with local giants. Alternatively, group leaves things as is, goes on to next location. That's really all I want to plan for so far. So they're going to go into giant territory. They're going to run into Trollhaven. They're going to find out that Trollhaven is controlled by a dragon. that is parading as a giant, basically fooling everyone it can, sending trolls to die for no good reason, and then they might fight Halfwing. I won't make Halfwing too terribly dangerous, but it should be fun and interesting. And then they'll go to the next location. Actually, let's just plan real quick. Next location is ruins that used to be Runeforge. Potentially used by Sunder to experiment with rune magic. Now, rune magic is bad news bears, but we'll get that into that at a different time. I like that so far. Let's go into game 6. So that was Thursdays. This is Fridays. It's a Peril in a Bear. This one's easy. Temple of Elemental Evil Water. That's all I gotta do. Group is in Underwater Kingdom, fighting cultists. They want to bring back a box. Yeah, I think that's who it is. A box is like this primordial, powerful deity of evil. Is it Obox or Oxob? I can't remember. It's like, I know what I mean when they say Obox, but...
So if you've been feeling fed up, messed up, or a little effed up, you'll feel less like that with every session. Start today at sondermind.com/therapy.
Oops.
At United Airlines, we have modernized standards.
Would
So
you
what exactly does
stop,
that mean?
you
It means
commercials,
more
you?
non-
Alright. So... let's see, I just need to do search real quick because I want to make sure I remember. Evil D&D deity a Boxob. So that was close. We've got a Boxob, and a Boxob is like a he's kind of on the same level of as Tharizdun and like the Chaos Spider and all those. So he's supposed to be really powerful, and he's also kind of like focused on the ocean, which is kind of why. Let's see. A Boxob wants to drain ocean into Abyss to create a new layer he can add to his kingdom. So he's not gonna like destroy the entire ocean, but he's gonna like drain the oceans by about 25 feet, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot. And it'll devastate the wildlife. It'll probably befoul the area for generations. The idea is a Boxob will drain like quadrillions of gallons, and will leave a pox. Like he doesn't care about the Forgotten Realms. He doesn't want to establish left forward base. He just wants to take and leave. But when he leaves, he's gonna leave like this pox on the ocean floor that's gonna make that whole region like super gross and disgusting. He might even leave a lieutenant there to be like, hey, control this ocean because it's funny. Like, I just want this area to be like evil and gross, and like all kinds of demons will nest here. So that's what the players are going to try and stop. A box of cultists are going to do a summoning with Lich in control. Lich, and I don't remember if I have a name for the Lich. Lich, same one that killed NPC friend. Lich being paid with let's see. Orb of Annihilation. Because what self-respecting lich doesn't want an Orb of Annihilation? So the group has to stop them all from doing that. I might even throw in the Tomb of Annihilation for the lich to play in. Could be fun. Tomb of Annihilation? Question mark? Maybe good place for ultimate summon. Okay. That was 6. We go to 7. Let me think. 7 is... No, not Tomb of Annihilation. I meant Tomb of Horrors. Because the next game is Tomb of Annihilation. Adventurers League. And so that one... let's see. Not a lot to plan. Next bit... Dungeon with Ring of Winter. Lot of interaction with artists and dragon bait. So I'm going to try and do this simple too. I'm going to do the Amber Temple from First Ostrad. Should be fun. Maybe amp up threats. Make amber golems. Regenerate 10 minutes after destroyed. That should be a lot of fun. And that should take the group an exuberantly long time. I just wish I had the maps, like physical maps, because that's one of my few physical games. But alright, and then 8. So 8 is where monsters dwell. So the next game isn't going to be terribly complicated boss fight. Void Dragon has, we'll say, Nightwalker template. Someone may die. Void Dragon is... Void Dragon is entropy that drove Whisper mad. Whisper is kind of the larval form of a dark god that has been foiling the group for a long time. Void Dragon wants to end all iterations. Currently wrapped inside of Whisper, combined to make Ooze. Now, Ooze is the corrupted form of Whisper that exists in the future, so this should explain a few things quite nicely. Possible outcomes. Let's Void Dragon. We'll just call him Void. So Void Dragon hastens Meteor. Or actually, we'll just call it Nibiru. And then Ko, I have this weird feeling like Ko wants to be a hero. Might save Garuk. Let's call that option 1. Option 2. And so Nibiru, incoming planetoid, going to kill everything. Number 2, Whisper possessing current player. Player may sacrifice self to recombine Whisper and Void. That's a possibility. 3, they beat Void. Reality. We'll call this a demi-reality. Collapses. Group sent to random time. And I think no matter what happens, I'm gonna send the group into kind of like a an early era of their own history. Have formation of towers. First inspired. And then we'll say early blood borrower activity. And blood borrowers are like boogeymen, scientist, gene manipulators. I'm gonna say group must find what's a good thing for them to find? Here we go. I want them to find a way to go back to their normal time, but I'm trying to think of what would be an interesting way to go about it. Let's see, I didn't realize that this was cutting off some of my text. That should work. But I'm stuck. No, maybe I'll save this for later. Save for later. Now, whatever they do, they have to come out with token for Sagava. Because that's what they're doing, they're fighting with Zagava. So after that, Nomos, dang it, token found, and then we'll say convocation. Group will gather in center of the world to revive the gods. But what happens? That seems a little too anticlimactic. kind of stuck there. There should be something far plainsy that they have to fight. Alright, we're gonna call this Seal of Divinity. Must fight powerful aberrations to unlock the god seal and revive gods. What do they gotta fight? Well, let's see what we've got aberration-wise. With this group, it's going to be hard to challenge. So let's just look at some monstery doos. Come on now. Well, I might have to do this on my phone. Alright, let's take a look. D&D Beyond. See, this is where it's super helpful to just have searchable databases of certain kinds of monsters. Types, aberration, okay. Challenge, let's just say from 15 to 22, because I just want to see what I have to work with. Do I do more higher challenge rating than lower? Do I do lower ones with, let's see, Belshira, Horse Spawn Worm, Star Spawn Emissary, Quarry, Skittering Horror. Sounds fun. I think this is from... Yeah, this is from Guilds of Ravnica or whatever. That's fun though, I like that Skittering Horror. But maybe something else. What is this? Belashira is the Lord of Eyes, also known as the All-Seer Glorious Eye. Shadow Marches. Tied to the Sight. Corvair. So yeah, she's from Eberron, of course. This core spawn worm seems a little bit more interesting.
Good or maybe a little effed up? Honestly,
Oh, please now.
pretend like right now.
Come on now. A greater Star Spawn Emissary. Oh, yeah. Yep, this is what I'm using. That's fantastic. And goes from challenge 19 to challenge 21. Okay, Greater Star Spawn Emissary. Fight Star Spawn Emissary. With, I feel like I gotta give it some pizzazz. Listings, monsters. Let's kick the challenge rating down to about 11 at the high end, and let's say 7 at the low end to give it some proper minions. Aboleths? No. Balanoths? Maybe. Slod. Ooh, that could be fun. Mind Players? Nah. Ochugs? No. Woe Strider? What is a Woe Strider? Oh my god, yes, this is amazing. Just the thematics. Okay, 2 Woe Striders it is. That's fantastic. Oh, this is so much fun. Okay, this is perfect. 2 Woe Striders. They all share. They all have. No, okay. They all add their HP together and share. So if you hurt one, it takes from the overall HP pool. If you manage to hit them with a area effect, then you're doing basically triple damage, or at least you do all of the damage to all of them. So that's a good way to do it. But they don't. None die until all die. So that's going to be a fun fight. And then Woe Striders. But they fly. Because that makes it a little bit more fun. Cool. Okay. No, that's fantastic. I love that idea. Okay, so yeah. That seems like a good way to go about it. They have to fight the Starspawn Emissary and the Woe Striders to unlock the Seal of Divinity on the gods. Oh man, I'm actually excited about that. Okay. Well, there you go. I run 8 games. And I've done now planning for all 8 of them today on Monday, which is really exciting. We've got some ideas formulating. I'll probably clean up these notes and use them. There's some cool stuff in here that I might want to extrapolate. For instance, these Scandinavian trolls might be a stat block or something. Semi-Lich, that might be a stat block. The Netherese Claw Pendants could be something fun. And Halfwing, I'm actually really interested in figuring that out. More thematic, really, than a stat block. But Adventures League, yep. Okay, there we go. Well, for y'all who have been watching, that was kind of fun as a thought exercise. I'm glad that I was able to do that planning because I've got a bunch of stuff lined up that should be really fun. Thank you for listening to me, putting up with me, and just kind of allowing me to think out loud. If anybody has any questions, if anybody wants to reach out, if anybody is like, wow, how do you do 8 games? I can talk about that too. In fact, I should probably talk about that the next time I do this. But for right now, we will keep this as it is. Let's see, and this will be episode 1 of I Run 8 Games. We will come back with other things such as maybe more in-depth analysis of like any given game and just like what I do to prepare. This is more preparation than I've done in maybe over a year for anything, which is interesting. I used to prepare a lot for my Eberron game, and now I don't really do that as much, and it seems fine, but it's kind of neat to be able to like think this through with a little bit of note-taking. But okay, there we go. Thank you all as usual. I appreciate everyone, and we will go do our thing. But yeah, I run 8 games, so you don't have to. Good night.